If I didn't know any better, I'd swear you're in high school right now because I can tell you got the phone. You're holding.
Yeah,
It's like You're like Tim Selfie.
I'm holding the phone, and I'm one of the cool kids. Just kind
You are.
of, dude. We might as well be Snapchatting right now. We might as well be snapping. I just got a haircut, which usually always gives me, takes me down 10 years.
Teresa had you in?
Jalisa,
That's
man.
what I said.
I've only mentioned her name about 50 times in the
No,
last
no,
month.
chorizo. I'm sure she does a great
Chorizo.
job. Listen,
Chorizo.
speaking of hot sausage.
Yeah. Yeah.
What have the Mets? What have the Mets done? Actually, you know what? They have one in their storied history, but that one has a huge asterisk next to it because, as you know,
what?
No hitter, one no.
Right.
But last night in Texas, against a stout Rangers lineup, Corey Kluber just throwing, zeros.
Look, that lineup has some length. The ball travels in that thin Texas air. And your boy Corey, who I laughed at that signing as an answer for you guys, has been beyond expectations to this point. Now, I mean, he's made out of glass, so it's just a matter of time before that really shows itself. But right now, Cash is looking like a genius. All right, and what can I tell you? I mean, right now, as we put one of our offseason signings on, I think we're paying our guy the same amount of money as you're paying your guy, and our guy's on the shelf, and your guy has 2 Cy Youngs. So good for the Yankees. Good for the Yankees.
And it's interesting. You talk about Cash and made of glass. I mean, yesterday for a period of time, the market seemed to be made of glass, and a lot of people rushing to. I mean, that move in Bitcoin. The move from 65,000 at the high-ish down to 30,000. I think it traded around 31,000 yesterday. I mean, that's an incredible move.
It's incredible move. By the way, Heart of Glass, one of the great albums of all time by Blondie, won Deborah Harry.
Not even in the top 100. That's not even. Dude. You said that knowing full well that I was going to push back.
Honestly, disappointing because not only is she a great singer and was, Blondie, a very actually influential band. They weren't like the most musical band. They didn't need to be. They from a time when music was being, look, CBGB's in 77, 76 through 78, 79 was basically a factory of creative energy that shaped rock and roll forever. And Deborah Harry paved the way for a lot of ladies. But anyway, let's talk about the glass fragility of the psyche of a Bitcoin investor, especially one that on the Coinbase IPO came in and said, I got to own this stuff. And Bitcoin peaked in at $63,000 a coin or something like that. And the rest has been really, that did define a top. And I think, the bigger issue there is the leverage that is in the Bitcoin investment by a lot of the people, and that what a margin call can do.
That's right.
And the question I pose to you is, does the froth in the Bitcoin market and the volatility attached to, I'm just going to call them overly emotional, in many cases, not traditional investors. I won't malign them beyond that. Will that impact the market, Guy Adami, as we get into a more volatile market? Did that have, was that additive to volatility in developed markets in the last 2 weeks?
I think so. I mean, listen, I believe that is the case without question. I mean, other people argue, the beauty of Bitcoin is it's the diversification you get, the fact that it's non-correlated asset. I would submit that everything's correlated, and if you start getting margin
Bitcoin,
calls,
Guy Adami?
of course, come on, man. What do you know? You know the answer. I mean, that's the rhetorical question of all time. Right. I do not own the Bitcoin.
What would it take for you to take out your physical wallet, which is probably like a worn snakeskin, something like? What are you working on?
Right.
Do you carry a wallet, or is this a rubber band?
I wish I had that. Well, that's sort of old school. If I had, I would I'll display it at another time. I don't know what it would take. Maybe an understanding. What I'm always fascinated by, I flat out tell you, I really don't get it, and I've tried to understand, but I'm always in sort of fascinated by the people that can tell you flat out how much they understand it. And then when you ask them for an explanation, they're unable to give you no idea whatsoever. It's like trying to explain effing cricket. So I don't know what to tell you.
That's a great point. I mean, cricket, one of the most popular games in the world on multiple continents, and I have no idea how it's played, but they tell us it's like baseball. So Anyway, look, we got to get out of here. Baseball in the Bronx is getting kind of interesting again. I realize because you guys may have a pitching staff. I think your twin towers of power are clearly more fragile than the guy that I thought was going to be on the shelf already. So congratulations, Corey Kluber, the 6th no already in this year. I don't know what's going on with the baseball, but it's a little strange. We've had this many no hitters. It kind of cheapens Corey Kluber's a little bit, right, Guy?
No, not at all, Tim. Because if it was a Met, you would have been like doing, yeah, I know you, because that's the Tim Seymour thing. So just remember that. If a Met, listen, if DeGrom comes back this year, maybe he's your guy. If
he comes back this year, I'm coming back tomorrow. I'll see you then, bro.
Later.